Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
And the clerk will report the title of the amendment.
Amendment offered by Mr. McClintock of California, page 3, line 10. After the dollar amount, insert reduced by $277,824,000. Page 101, line 10. After the dollar amount, insert increase by $277,824,000.
Gentleman from California is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This amendment cuts more than $250 million in unauthorized, I repeat, unauthorized appropriations from the International Trade Administration. Now, what does the International Trade Administration do? Well, it's got some legitimate functions enforcing trade agreements and treaties, and this amendment leaves those functions untouched. But ITA also, quote, from their own material, provides counseling to American companies in order to develop the most profitable and sustainable plans for pricing, export, and the full range of public and private trade promotion assistance, as well as market intelligence and industry and market-specific research, end quote. Well, that's all well and good, Madam Chairman, but isn't that what businesses and trade associations and the chambers of commerce are supposed to do with their own money? Why should taxpayers be subsidizing the profits of individual businesses? If a specific business or industry is the beneficiary of these services, shouldn't they be the sole financiers of those services, either individually or collectively through trade associations? It's true, this program has been around for generations. But Franklin Roosevelt, who was hardly a champion of smaller government, had the right idea when he slashed its budget back in 1932 and closed 31 of its offices. The problem is that reform didn't take. Today, the ITA has some 240 offices. Now, the ITA's authorization lapsed way back in 1996, 16 years ago. It's not been reviewed or authorized by Congress since then, but we still keep shoveling money out the door at them. But although it hasn't been reviewed by Congress in all of these years, it has been thoroughly weighed by the Congressional Budget Office, the Office of Management and the Budget, and most recently the President's Fiscal Commission, and they have all found it sadly wanting. The Simpson-Bowles report summed it up quite nicely when they said, and I quote, "Services provided by ITA's U.S. commercial services and other divisions directly providing assistance to U.S. companies should be financed by the beneficiaries of this assistance. While the agency charges fees for those services, its fees do not cover the costs of all of its activities. Additionally, it is argued that the benefits of trade promotion activities are passed on to foreigners in the form of decreased export costs." Simpson-Bowles goes on to say, according to a study by the Office of Management and Budget, businesses can receive similar services from state, local, and private sector entities. The CBO option to eliminate ITA's promotion activities or charge the program's beneficiaries saves $267 million in 2010 and $1.6 billion through 2014, end of quote. Now, Madam Chairman, if the CBO, the OMB, and the President's Fiscal Commission agree this is wasteful, and Congress hasn't bothered to reauthorize it since it expired 16 years ago, why do we continue spending money that we don't have, duplicating services that the beneficiaries of those services either don't need or are quite capable of funding on their own? And if the companies that we are told directly benefit from all of these essential services are not willing to fund them, well, maybe that's just nature's way of telling us that we shouldn't be fleecing our constituents' earnings to pay for them either. And why would we tap American taxpayers to subsidize the export activities of foreigners, as Simpson-Bowles notes? Madam Chairman, the rules of the House were specifically written to prevent this type of unauthorized expenditure, and they provide for a point of order to be raised if it's included in an appropriations bill, which is what we are talking about right now. But alas, that rule is routinely waived when these measures are brought to the floor, making this amendment the only possible way of ferreting out this kind of duplicative program and outright waste. This is a prime example of